This time on episode 216 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to be talking about The Defenders episode Ashes. We're going to run down some Marvel news and your feedback.
I'm Jeannie.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Nikki from Tyrion's Landing,
a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the one you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready, because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director SP.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This show is recorded on Thursday, November 9th, 2017, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast galactic-wide via www.geeks.live. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's The Inhumans, for one more episode, Marvel's Defenders on Netflix, yay! Legion on FX, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Marvel Comic Universe in general.
Because we hunt the wolf.
If you'd like to talk to us about wolf hunting, you can catch us on our website, legendsofshield.com. You can also leave us a voicemail at 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871.
You can also find us on Facebook at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast.
You want to talk to us about wolf hunting? You can catch us on Twitter at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GonnaGeek.com network.
So actually, I'm very much against wolf hunting. And when I was 10 years old, I wrote a letter to President Bill Clinton as a thank you for reintroducing wolves back into Yellowstone National Park. Those wolves have successfully bred and become a huge, thriving pack. And now the local prey population is much more under control.
Oh.
And the ecosystem is much more well balanced.
It's interesting that you mentioned the ecosystem because I was just listening on my Amazon home device, make sure I don't set any of them off, about a news story about how scientists are trying to prevent the Yellowstone supervolcano from erupting by proposing to bore 10 kilometers down and dissipate the heat in the magma chamber underneath the park.
Wasn't that the plot of the core?
No, the core went into the earth to set off several nuclear bombs to get the core's magma rotation, iron core. Yeah. No, this is to prevent the volcano.
This is actual science. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, the Yellowstone caldera is honestly terrifying. So anything to prevent it from taking out, a third of the continental U.S. and can also causing huge ash plumes and horribleness. I'm in favor of that.
Yes, mass extinction. That is an extinction level event for at least some species on the planet, if not us. So yes, this is something that is very interesting. Of course, there's no immediate danger from this happening, but it is about the time for the supervolcano to erupt in about the next 50,000 years. So we have to pay attention.
And on that cheerful note,
we're going to talk about The Defenders, Ashes. Lauren, what's with the title?
Well, it's about the eruption of the Yellowstone supercaldera. No, it's actually more about, I guess you could kind of tie it to that because it's the Hand's plan to leave New York City in ashes and how their plans then turn to ashes and everybody's plans are turning to ashes and the whole ashes, ashes, we all fall down part of the rhyme, the nursery rhyme.
What about the ashes, like actually dying and turning into ashes? That whole thing?
Yeah, I guess you should burn bodies to be safer because otherwise the hand's going to get it and bring you back, except they kind of can't right now.
Wait a minute. If you die and you don't cut off, and you have the whatever they use in Kunlun to bring you back,
The
substance, whatever that is, and you don't have your head cut off, but then you're burnt, could you come back after that?
I don't think so, because technically that is not your body. That is carbon.
Yeah, but it's the carbons that were in your body. I mean, technically, I guess your head is decapitated at that point.
Yeah, and all parts of you are all mixed up. And if you were brought back together, there would be a lot of parts of you missing because, all the parts of you that are, were vaporized would be gone. So you'd be about this big and chunks would be missing and it wouldn't be a pretty sight.
No, although over on the CW DC universe, they did bring Malcolm back from ashes. No, Malcolm brought, what was it, Damien? He brought somebody back from ashes. So it has happened over there. And it probably has happened over in the Marvel universe.
I dispute that science.
Okay, there you go. From Lab Rat Lauren herself. All right, so that's Ashes to Ashes. But let's take a moment and talk about the creative team behind this episode. It was directed by none other than Mr. Stephen Surjik himself. This is an awesome director. This is actually the 8th time we've discussed him on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., going way back to episode number 83. He's got 52 total directing credits in his IMDb, beginning in 1985. So yes, the year that Back to the Future started is the year that Stephen Surjik started directing. He's directed an episode of Kids in the Hall. He did Wayne's World 2 in 1993. He did an episode of The X-Files, Eureka, No Ordinary Family, 6 episodes of Warehouse 13, 10 episodes of Burn Notice. I missed that show. It was a fun show. If you haven't checked out that series, go ahead. I'm sure it's on Netflix or something like that right now. And it ended great too. One of my biggest pet peeves about good series is that end really terrible. Burn Notice ended great. So go check that out. An episode of Arrow talking about the DC universe. The Flash talking about the DC universe. 2 episodes of Jessica Jones back here on Netflix. 3 episodes of Daredevil, 7 episodes of Person of Interest. Another great series, kind of ended okay. I think Burn Notice ended better. Okay, 1 episode of Designated Survivor, 1 episode of Luke Cage, 1 episode of The Punisher, which I have yet to see, 1 episode of Iron Fist, and 1 episode of The Defenders. He's also the producer noted for Intelligence, Warehouse 13, Common Law, Burn Notice, and the Romeo section.
Well, Punisher is not out yet. So
Woohoo!
soon.
I haven't missed anything. Yeah.
Yes. The episode was written by a familiar team. First, we have Drew Goddard, who we have discussed. This is his 6th appearance on our show of us discussing him. And he has 17 writing credits starting in 2002. Including 5 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 5 of Alias, the movie Cloverfield, the movie Cabin in the Woods, still one of my favorite movies, 9 episodes of Lost, the movie The Martian,
Woohoo!
2 episodes of Daredevil, and also created by Daredevil, with Daredevil there, 1 episode of The Defenders, and he's also produced Alias, Lost, The Martian, Daredevil, The Defenders, and one of my current favorite shows, The Good Place. Like, have you seen that show?
No, I haven't yet. What's it about?
Well, it takes place in the afterlife. Kristen Bell's character wakes up and finds out she's died and is told she's gone to the good place. It's not heaven. There's no like actual heaven or hell. There's the good place and the bad place. Except she was a terrible person in life. So she's like, well, what am I doing here? And the show, it's hilarious. The characters are wonderful. It's by the creator of Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And right now, it's my happy place show.
Sweet.
This is
the second season, right?
Yes, this is the second season.
Okay.
It looks like it's going to be renewed, I think, or else it's already been renewed. But it's fantastic. The actors are great. The writing is wonderful. It has both just incredible writing and sight gags. and just everyone on it's fantastic. I love it. I love it so much. And I think the last episode of season 2 airs tonight. So I'll be watching that in the morning. It was also co-written by Marco Ramirez. This is his 13th appearance on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. He has 8 writing credits since 2007. 3 episodes of Sons of Anarchy, 2 of Orange is the New Black, 6 of Da Vinci's Demons, 1 of Fear the Walking Dead, 6 of Daredevil, and 7 of The Defenders. And he's also listed as the producer for Da Vinci's Demons, Fear the Walking Dead, and Daredevil.
So we have a really tight creative team behind this. And to be honest with you, so far, the entire series has had a really great creative team. So that's awesome because it actually panned out. And you have a lot of A-team actors and A-team players on this show, too. It's just been so fun to watch so far. Ashes is really in any other of the Netflix series, this would have been the ho-hum. They're bringing it all together, and it didn't feel that way to me. It felt like there were reveals every 5 or 10 minutes. It was fun to watch, and let's start talking about it with the fact that Stick figures the way to get out of this is to kill Danny.
That was wonderful. He's like, well, there's only one thing left to do. Takes out the sword.
He had this special incense, which was poisoning everybody and putting them to sleep and whatever. And poor Luke Cage just succumbs to it. And then Danny's sitting there with the Iron Fist. He could get out of it. He's summoning his G, and then he's knocked out. And
yeah, just again, I love Stick, but he is a tricky old bastard.
He is. I think this might have been his demise because Elektra gets him.
Yep. Elektra gets a lot of people in this episode. A lot of named characters, not just, minions.
To be honest, I saw the Stick thing coming. I didn't know that Elektra was going to kill him, but I did see Stick dying in this series. He lost his hand. He was the last of the chase. He was nuts, as we know. He did have a great last, if this is indeed his last episode, he did have a good last episode because he talked about his family and his past. He was in prison as a young lad. He came out, the chase got him. It was family, but his real family was Matt and Elektra. And that was a touching moment. And then right after that, he decides to kill Danny. So the whole thing went wrong there.
It's again, that whole thing of when you start getting a character's backstory, like a minor character or a secondary character, they're going to die.
It's so bad that Scott Glenn's a secondary character. He's so
I know.
Cool.
He's so good, but he's one of those that, like, because he's so experienced and because Stick is kind of an over-the-top character, he's like salt. You want to use him to enhance everything. You don't want him to overpower everything. And he was a great enhancement to the whole Netflix Marvel stuff, but to this show in general. He brought a lot of humor to it, which is funny because he's not somebody you would think of as a particularly funny character. But Scott Glenn, I think, knows how to use that just really well. And we've talked about him being kind of, the jackass Yoda. And, the mentor figure has to die. It's a literary trope.
And I will have to say that if they ever go back, and they don't do it in this episode, I don't think they ever will, but if they ever go back, Matt can always say, I told you so, in regards to Stick.
Yeah, I love it. He's just like, okay, well, only choice, got to kill Danny. And I could see just so many people going, yeah! In the meantime, Danny's like, wait, what?
So in the middle of that, we have to back up a second. And the reason why Danny was actually knotted to the chair was because we had an intra-team fight because they wanted to keep Danny away. And Danny, being the Danny we all know and kind of love,
the dumbass Iron Fist.
Well, okay, there you go.
He's like your stupid younger brother.
So he wanted to go out
in this series.
Yeah, right. He wanted to go out and he wanted to fight the hand on his own, not thinking that it might be better for me just to stick in one place and hide. No, he wants to be out there on the front lines. And they all think that's a terrible idea. And it takes all of them to take him down. Matter of fact, this is the second time that Danny, the Iron Fist, has punched Luke Cage. And then there is this, I don't know what to call it, this mystical boom that happens and knocks everybody out.
Well, it's when the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Right.
It's that whole effect.
So it's the same thing as Thor's hammer and the Captain America's
and
shield.
Cap's shield.
Yeah. And knocks everybody out, and then that causes Jessica to be able to be the first one over to Danny and knock him out. And that's how it all ends. But you had the inter-team fight.
So my favorite part of this fight. So the fight starts because, Danny wants to go and, fight on his own. And he's like, come on, guys, we got to do this. And everyone's like, you're an idiot. This is a terrible idea. And Matt's the one who steps up to stop him because Matt has the ninja training. He's not, Order of the Crane Mother, but he was trained by one of the Chaste. So we have this fight, and we have Luke and Jessica and Styx standing back. Styx they're like, I still say we should have killed the guy. Jessica's like, I'm hanging back. I want nothing to do with this. And Luke, bless him. Luke tries to separate him because he knows, like, well, I can take a punch. And of course, he gets thrown off to the side. And finally, it's when Jessica sees her opening after that whole punch, immovable object, unstoppable force thing. She's like, and here's my opportunity. Gets Danny, throws him to the ground. And she's like, this is over now. I loved the character dynamics in that scene. This is one of the things that this series, I think, is doing so well. We're getting maybe not the hugest character moments we're getting little and good character moments for everyone. Like, you could tell Luke, sensible. Matt, responsible. Jessica, opportunist. Danny, idiot. Good-hearted idiot, but idiot.
I don't know. Well, okay, I'll go with that, but I just think he's like an idiot rather than a good-hearted idiot.
He's rash. He's inexperienced, and he's rash.
Very rash indeed. Now, while he was in bondage, he did have a little character moment with Luke, and they kind of bonded. This is the first time they're
bonded in bondage.
That's right. This is the first time that we're seeing the character dynamic that comes out in the comics so much. They actually have the half-witted smiles back and forth with each other. They understand each other, and you can see the relationship budding. It was a good moment.
That's one of the things that I was really looking forward to in the series. I'm like, okay, make me like Danny Rand. And I think having him interact with the other defenders has gone a long way towards making him like him a lot better, especially this kind of big brother, little brother relationship that they seem to be building on with Danny and Luke.
Yeah.
And sort of in the same way, you get, while they're, hanging out, you get Matt and Jessica going and doing some investigative stuff on their own. Matt and Jessica in the comics, it's really funny because there's this one part where it's one of the first times that Jessica sleeps with Luke, where was it Luke or Scott? She sleeps with Scott Lang, and she drunkenly tells him that he's not as good of a person as Matt Murdock and throws up on him and then passes out in his bed.
I would reverse that in this Marvel Cinematic Universe, but okay, I'll go with it.
But yeah, it's again, we're getting these little hints at the relationships to them that we know from the comics. But at the same time, it's building. And I like that building. These people who were just kind of thrown together, but that we're hoping we see more of them. And I love that. I'm a sucker for teams. I'm a sucker for found family stuff. I'm a sucker for teams. And I just want these 4 idiots to hang out. Well, 3 idiots plus Luke. Luke's not really an idiot. Luke's got his head on pretty straight. I want these 3 idiots plus Luke to hang out and have adventures. And it's all I want in life right now.
Yeah, it's
not all I want in life. I want a lot out of life. I want porgs. I want my own flock of porgs from Star Wars, just right now in real life, hanging out on my couch. But
is that what you call a group of porgs, a flock?
Well, they are seabirds. But I think Rian Johnson did confirm that the technical term for them is a murder of porgs.
A murder. But what?
Yes.
What? Murder?
Yes. Kind of like a group of crows, a murder of crows.
I've never heard that. A murder of crows.
You haven't heard that?
No, I haven't. I'm, sheltered.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever see a group of crows, now you know.
It's a murder of crows. I do see a group of crows quite a bit, so that's going to come into my mind quite a bit. And as well as, let's talk about the little moment between Luke and Jessica. You could have called, you could have reached out, back and forth.
Well, you could have reached out. Yeah, I guess I could have.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
It's such a nice little moment, because it's stuff that we've talked about before of, well, why aren't we getting Jessica and Luke Cage? Why? Stuff like that. And it's just here, it's like, well, Jessica's not good at communicating. Luke, I guess, probably just kind of wanted to distance himself from all the weirdness that went on with Kilgrave and everything. And they just sort of drifted apart.
And they're back together. They got the band back together, the team's together and everything. So that's great. We'll see where that goes from here. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, but I can think it's mostly plot resolution at this point. But we'll see what also comes out of the team as well. Talking about the plot resolution, I totally forgot about the construction site at Midland Circle. I know Haley's been talking about it a little bit back and forth, but I just totally forgot and disassociated myself from it. So yes, the construction site at the end of season 2 of Daredevil is in fact now Midland Circle. That building went up really fast. Wow.
It really did. I don't know how long it usually takes to build high rises, but
like a decade.
I mean, yeah, that was fast. But then again, it's the Hand. They have resources, they have influence, and they have plans. So,
well, and this actually goes back all the way to Daredevil season 1, because this was the plot of land that they wanted, the Japanese wanted so much. So, yeah, this really has a lot of background to it. So I'm glad to finally see this all coming together in Midland Circle. Talking about Midland Circle, we do have the Hand and all of the interpolitical stuff that's going on between those 5 fingers. Or 4 now.
4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sawande. Well, Sawande does kind of join him again. We see Stick with the box kind of shoving Sawande's head in it. And then a few scenes later, we see them opening the box and they're just like, well, this is bad.
And they try to have a eulogy for Sawande, and then Alexander's like, no, don't pretend that you all liked him.
You liked him. We all hated him. And don't pretend that some of us here haven't tried to kill each other. I kind of get the feeling that Madame Gao has tried to kill Alexandra like a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I loved when she came out from talking to her, like trying to make the deal with her, and Gao walks back out. She's like, you were right. Okay. Don't cross Gao. Just don't do it.
No, because for the past couple episodes, Gao's been very deferential to her. And I mean, we've seen enough of Madame Gao in the other series to know she plays a good long game. And yeah, I love her. I love her so much.
But we do find out that all they want to do, the 4 that are left, all 4.
Well, 3 of them for sure.
Yeah.
Don't know about Alexandra.
Okay. They all want to go back to Kunlun. And for various reasons, I don't understand all their reasons. I know like the overt reasons is to get more of the substance, whatever the substance is. You know what? It's probably like dried orange peels or something like that.
Yeah,
Kunlun.
it's the immortality goo, if I remember right.
Okay, well, substance
so
immortality
what do you think,
goo.
yeah, what do you think it's made of?
Well, that's what I was saying. It was probably like dried orange peels, or I don't know. Although that was probably the incense that Stick used. I don't know. I just know it's something magical and mystical from Kunlun.
Yeah, and I just loved, especially Murakami and Gao's kind of sheer dislike of Alexandra and how it comes through this episode.
And Alexandra, she's just so on top of it. She thinks she's got everything going on. She's given Elektra space so then she can go back. Like any child that has to throw a tantrum, you just let him go and then you meet up with them and then you bring them back in the fold. And she just thinks she's got everything going for her because Alexander brings Danny Rand in. She's all good. And then in the middle of her tirade, in the middle of Alexander saying what a badass she is.
It was like a Deep Blue Sea moment. Like, have you ever seen the movie Deep Blue Sea?
Yes, I have.
Okay, the part where, spoilers for a movie that's like, I don't know, 15, 20 years old at this point. Sam Jackson is in the middle of this wonderful, inspiring speech, and then a giant shark just eats him in the middle of his speech. And it was kind of like that, only with Sigourney Weaver getting stabbed through the torso with a pair of sais, which was amazing.
It was indeed. And so Alexander wasn't decapitated, but she is dying. So I'm not sure if she's completely dead or not.
Well, after we see Elektra do something in her general neck area.
Yeah,
so
I
think she was decapitated.
Okay, but you can't actually show Sigourney Weaver being decapitated because that would be too dramatic for all of her fans. So, okay, I can see that happening.
Yes, that would be upsetting.
What I didn't see as well was Elektra taking charge of the hand. I didn't see that coming. I thought she'd go rogue or maybe go back to the good side or whatever. I didn't see her taking over the hand. That was
she's getting her memories back. She's getting her agency back. And what does she decide to do? Let me think.
His name is Matthew.
I love that.
You work for me now.
Yeah, she's like, I want you to kill Jessica Jones. I want you to kill Luke Cage. Kill whoever the devil of Hell's Kitchen is. Stab. His name is Matthew.
I wonder if she would have done that if she would have just said kill Matt Murdock. I don't know. We'll never know. All right.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I really loved that twist the first time I watched that episode through. And I mean, even now it's still just, I kind of got a cheer, just Elektra taking charge, and she's been used as a tool first by Stick and then by Alexandra. And now she's just like, you know what? I want to do what I want to do. And right now I want to be in charge of this evil organization. I think that's what's good for me now. I'm taking some me time.
There's a little bit of Venture Brothers going on in here, you know? A little bit of that. It's all fun. For those of you that haven't seen Venture Brothers, it's a cartoon, but it's very much an adult cartoon. And if you think that Archer is adult, Venture Brothers
is amazing.
Yeah, and it is totally not for kids. Do not watch it. But it's so great off the 70s and 80s cartoons that
yes.
I grew up with anyway. So yeah, great episode. Great episode.
Yeah, I love this rewatch. I mean, I liked Defenders pretty well my first watch through, but again, whenever I watch these, I marathon them. And then when I actually take the time to go back and savor, it hits me again how much I like it.
Well, we got 2 episodes left, and the 2 episodes will be in like a month. Will be done because next episode we're going to actually run down Thor Ragnarok. I'm actually going to go see it this weekend. Are you going to see it again?
Okay, I know for sure I'm seeing it again, not this weekend, but next weekend. But I might see if I could go see it again this weekend too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might see it once, twice, 3 times. I don't know. We'll see before we actually record next Thursday night. Of course, Sunday we'll be running down the season finale of The Inhumans. That will be the very next episode.
It's almost over.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have an American holiday called Thanksgiving, so we'll not be recording then. So then we'll get back to recording The Defenders, the last 2 episodes. So it'll be about a month before we're done with this, but I can't wait. It'll be fun. I might actually go back and rewatch the first 6 episodes on Thanksgiving weekend or something like that. I'm sure there'll be other things for me to do, but I want to, so we'll see what happens. Like, I haven't seen Westworld. I want to see Westworld and The Gifted. Only seen the pilot, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm watching through Stranger Things season 2. I'm finally getting to Awesome Babysitter Steve Harrington.
Yeah, lots of stuff out there.
It's not another show. It's another thing in Stranger Things too. So
right. And Haley is not with us today. We should have mentioned this at the beginning. Haley is off doing a thing for her other show.
She's here. She's just very quiet.
Yeah, right. She's actually going to Long Island right now as we're discussing this. We're recording this, and she'll be gone for this episode and next episode, but she will be back the following episode, which we will talk about Thor Ragnarok. Originally, we were going to talk about Thor Ragnarok today, but we decided to push that up. So in any event, that is our plans for the future, but stay tuned. We're not done yet today. We're going to talk about some news and some feedback. So hold on. Here we go. So, Lauren, I got to ask you a question. Is the first week in November like news bonanza for the comic book stores and stuff?
It's kind of seeming like it. We've got some news.
We've got a lot of news, and we're going to start with a huge blockbuster deal that DC Comics pulled off.
Okay, so this one actually made me gasp when I first heard it on Tuesday. Brian Michael Bendis leaves Marvel and signs exclusive deal with DC Comics. Now, if you don't know why this is such a big deal, Brian Michael Bendis is the creator of Jessica Jones, Miles Morales, Maria Hill, just a bunch of characters. He's written for just a whole bunch of comics that I love. And it's going to be, well, I can't blame him because right now, Marvel with the events and with just everything, it's something I would be pretty tired to be working for. And he's been working for them for 15 years, maybe more. And a lot of the writers that are currently working for Marvel were very much inspired by him. And he followed up the announcement with a statement saying, "This is real. I love you all. Change is good. Change is healthy. I am bursting with ideas and inspirations. Details to come. Stay soon." I'm really interested in seeing what exactly he works on with DC.
I know, your mind goes to the big titles, like Batman. Is he going to be involved in Batman? Batman right now is going through the huge metal arc right now. Is he going to be involved in Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Superman? Superman's another just huge title in DC right now. We're not a DC show here, but I do read DC Comics. And there's just a lot of good threads going on right now. DC Comics is really killing it right now. Marvel's slacking, I feel like. Yeah, there's that. So the rebirth of DC Comics, literally the rebirth brand, has been good for DC. It allowed me, at least, to enter in as an entry point into DC Comics. So I'm not a childhood fan of DC Comics. I've never read comics until we started doing these comic book TV show podcasts. And I'm liking what I've been seeing in Rebirth. It's been really good. It has not been really good for my pocketbook, however, because there's just a lot of good. Now, I don't read everything.
That's the problem with comics. Crack is probably cheaper.
So what is your favorite DC comic book right now? Is it Wonder Woman? Is it?
Okay. I really love, I haven't been caught up, but I really love Batwoman. I really love Bombshells. I really love Harley Quinn. I've heard that recently it's gone kind of off the rails, but the rebirth stuff of Harley Quinn, I absolutely love. Batgirl, when Gail Simone was working on it recently with the rebirth stuff, loved. Blue Beetle, I don't think that's an ongoing title right now, but that was one of the ones that got me reading more DC a few years ago.
I was really interested in the Blue Beetle just because I didn't know a lot about him. And so I picked up the title, and it's been an interesting read into Cord Industries and Cord himself and what's happened. And
I started with Jaime Reyes.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah. That was right before they did the New 52.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of years before. What else am I reading right now? Mostly I'm really, really loving Bombshells.
Okay. Well, I would suspect.
And Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I would suspect that they would put Brian Michael Bendis on at least one of the female titles. And I don't know which one. It doesn't really matter, but it'll be fun seeing what he does, and it'll be fun seeing what of the other titles that he's involved with as well. It would be nice. Justice League would be fun, or Justice League America, one of those two. That would be kind of fun.
I know a lot of people don't like him because he's a very talky writer. His work tends to use is very heavy on dialogue and less so on action. And he has his very specific interpretations of how the characters should act. He's honestly a writer that I like. I was introduced to him through Jessica Jones, and I think he worked on X-Men for a while, but I don't think I liked his run on X-Men that much. But anyway, he's a writer that I've liked for a while. Again, I really, really liked Ultimate Spider-Man and Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man.
So I'll miss him from the Marvel titles for sure. I have no doubt that eventually he'll come back, but we'll just see.
Honestly, I would really like to see more New Blood in Marvel because I don't think it can hurt at this point.
Yeah, I think they're losing some sales, and I don't know. We'll see how everything goes. I think their Star Wars titles are actually bolstering up.
And oh yeah, he was the writer behind Civil War 2. So yeah, that's not great. That's not a great thing for him.
No, I hated how they portrayed Captain Marvel in that. So,
but on the upside, Jessica Jones. So
yeah, that was a fun part of it. Yeah, Jessica Jones. Anyway, so we'll see what Michael Bendis brings to DC, and I know we'll miss him from Marvel, but at this point, flipping flopping between the two. Okay, and the comic books is different than the movies for me. Comic books, I'll go back and forth between the two. Although my favorite books are actually the independent titles. We've talked about this before, and maybe we'll do a special segment on that in the future. In the meantime, let's move on to another big Marvel bonanza.
So there was a big call today. Bob Iger, Disney CEO, was making a whole bunch of announcements, a lot of good Star Wars announcements. I'm so excited. But for the purposes of our podcasts, Disney will bring an all-new Marvel show to its streaming service in 2019. They're trying to move away from relying on Netflix, which I think is a mistake, personally. But the new show will be Disney only. My feelings on this are mixed. I'm all for new Marvel properties. But I really think that limiting it to the Disney-only streaming service is doing them a huge disservice.
So it's a little bit different than CBS, right? CBS started their streaming service and they put Star Trek Discovery on it. And a lot of people have refused to watch Star Trek Discovery because they refused to buy a streaming channel for one show. And I'm actually one of those people, but I know a lot of other people are in that boat as well. CBS has decided to renew Star Trek Discovery for a second season, I think only for the reason of trying to bolster up its own channel. I mean, the show might be good. I can't speak personally from that standpoint.
My friends who've been watching it love it. I just don't have the channel.
I know a lot of people are actually watching the Orville instead because it's, well, first of all, it's free. And second of all, they like it because it's more like, as they say, TNG done right. So
I just really don't like Seth MacFarlane, though.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. So, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to everything on there right now. Anyway, getting back to the Disney channel, the Disney streaming service, I can see this as better than CBS because you do have a lot more properties. You have a potential Star Wars live action show. You have a Marvel show, and they might start doing
more like Disney spin-off properties. Like if you've ever watched the DuckTales series that's currently on Disney XD, that's a lot of fun. Rebels, a lot of fun. Star versus the Forces of Evil, a lot of fun. So this is one that I might pay for just because we'll see how some of their original content is, because they're going to have more than just one exclusive thing.
Yeah, everybody's coming out with original content now. I read a story Jennifer Aniston today is doing a series with what's her name on Apple, on the Apple streaming service. So Renee, gosh, what's her name?
Zellweger?
Is it? No, it's not Renee Zellweger. I'm sorry. She played her sister on Friends.
Witherspoon.
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon.
I knew it was R something. So my apologies, Reese, for not remembering your name. Anyway, they're doing something over there. You've got great Hulu content that's coming out, original content. So there's a lot of streaming services that are coming out with original content. And I think one of the reasons behind that is a lot more people are cutting the cord. A lot of people are going to start to get streaming service, consume the content, and then switch the streaming service they have. So by de facto, they'll be giving money to different series that way. I just think that this has a better chance of success long term than other things out there because they have so much, and they're going to have more, and we'll talk about that in a second. So stay tuned. As soon as more information comes out about this particular show, this particular Marvel show that's supposed to be on the Disney streaming service, we'll let you know. Right now, all we know is that there will be a show. We don't know what characters. We don't know when the show will be. We don't know how many episodes. We don't know anything about it. I would assume it would be a Netflix-like production where you would get somewhere between 8-12 episodes, something like that in a season. Probably not in the Defenders, probably something else entirely. I don't know what universe they haven't hacked through. But again, this might be dependent on one of the other stories we have just a couple from now. So just hold on tight on that. Do you have anything else to say on this, Lauren?
No, not really. Just I'm looking forward to hearing more information about what property they decide to do. And I hope they do it good.
All right. So we got a couple of stories on the Black Panther here.
Yes. Okay. So Chadwick Boseman did an interview with CNET, and it's a fantastic interview. But one of the main things that a lot of news sources have picked up on is his accent as T'Challa. The whole point of Wakanda is that it's a truly isolated nation. We've talked about this before on a couple of issues back, that their whole thing is they don't like neighbors. And Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of Black Panther has this very specific accent. And he says that he wanted to speak like that because he wanted that accent to not have colonialism tainting it. Specifically, he said, people think about how race has affected the world. It's not just the States. Colonialism is a cousin of slavery. Colonialism in Africa would have it that in order to be a ruler, his education comes from Europe. I wanted to be completely sure that we didn't convey that idea because that would be counter to everything that Wakanda is about. It's supposed to be the most technologically advanced nation on the planet. If it's supposed to have not been conquered, which means that advancement has happened without colonialism tainting it, poisoning the well of it, without stopping or disrupting it, there's no way he would speak with a European accent, which is an excellent point. There's this perception in a lot of media, and I was actually talking about this while discussing a D&D character recently, that everything has to have a European, faux European accent to it. If you're doing a fantasy thing, everyone has to speak with a vaguely British accent. And a lot of that is rooted in colonialism because the Europeans went out and claimed a bunch of countries, and now we associate European accents, specifically British accents, with being cultured. And the fact that Wakanda is supposed to be specifically never having been conquered and very isolationist, he wouldn't have gone to these places in Europe because, hey, Wakanda has their own stuff. Why would we need to go there? They're an isolationist society. They would kind of look down on that. And I really, really like that. I want more varieties of just everything in my science fiction. Accents is one of them. Right now, I'm getting ready to play a D&D character with a Cajun accent. Because why not? You never see, it's always European accents and stuff like Scottish, Russian, British, stuff like that. Why can't there be, if a character is supposed to be from a swamp, why can't they be Cajun? So I love this idea of people putting this thought into their characters. And thank you for that, Chadwick Boseman. That was very awesome.
You know, I think you're looking forward to a certain Marvel movie coming out in the future about an explosivist Cajun.
Yeah, a little bit. It doesn't help that Texas is right next to Louisiana, and I'm in Houston, which is closer to Louisiana than a lot of Texas. So we get a lot of Cajun food, and it's delicious. Also, Houston has a large population of Katrina refugees.
Right.
So we got a lot more Cajun food after Katrina, a lot of Cajun influence. And again, this is why cultural mingling is awesome, because you get to know people and you get to know culture and you get food.
Yum. Now I gotta have some gumbo. All right.
Red beans and rice, man. I love me some red beans and rice.
All right. I had that once or twice. It's pretty good.
So good.
Couple of good restaurants, chain restaurants. I mean, what is it? Papados?
They're nothing.
I know, but I mean, if you're not in the area, that would be
Seriously. Come to Houston, and there's a really good place downtown. If you like, I don't like crawfish, but if you like crawfish, there's a Vietnamese place. They do Vietnamese Cajun crawfish and corn. And that's all they serve, but it's apparently fantastic. Like, it's been on the Food Channel.
Okay. So just to be clear, I was talking about Gambit before.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's got Gambit, it's got Channing Tatum. What's not to love?
Well, let's talk about the one last news story before we get on to feedback about Black Panther.
Okay. Character posters have been revealed, and they look so good. We have T'Challa in the Black Panther suit, but, with his face uncovered, he's looking at the claws, and it says his father's legacy. We have Ulysses Claw, Andy Serkis there, and he has a prosthetic hand. It says his enemy's revenge. We have Forrest Whitaker, and I forget his character's name,
Zuri.
But he's looking down. It says his king's commands. Just all these awesome portraits, and the costuming is gorgeous, and the makeup is gorgeous, and it's just it's so good. I mean, I know you probably couldn't tell that I can't wait for this movie, but you guys, I can't wait for this movie.
It'll be coming before you know it, so that'll be fun. All right. That's it for the news. We're going to move on to the feedback.
All right, we're starting off with, we have stories from Twitter. Tweets.
Well, now they're more like stories because they're 280 characters versus 140 characters.
Yeah. First of all, we have Born to Eat Bacon saying, "Be still my heart, I just felt a twitch in my nether regions. Disney is in talks to buy 20th Century Fox. Would this open the door to the X-Men joining the MCU?" The story's from a couple days ago. And Disney, 20th Century Fox has been holding talks to sell most of its company to Walt Disney. The talks have been taking place over the last few weeks, and there's no certainty that they will lead to a deal. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if these talks are still ongoing. But wouldn't it be cool if we got X-Men in the Marvel Universe?
See, and that's what I was talking about before in our news segment when I was saying we don't know what TV show that they're going to throw on the streaming service. Maybe it'll be a mutant TV show.
Just anything. What if it was something along the lines of like a Young Avengers type thing, or what is it? I'm blanking out on the name of it, but it was when the Avengers had like a training academy.
You got me there. Sorry.
I'm blanking out on it. It was running a few years ago, and it was a really good comic. My brain isn't working tonight. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I was thinking, well, since the Inhumans flopped so much on ABC, I think maybe that is driving them to do it. It could be the rest of the Star Wars rights as well. I mean, this would just make a lot of things whole that they would have the power to make stories with. It could be the TV shows like The Gifted and Legion are doing so well in the ratings with Fox. I mean, they could get them back. And I don't know if the mutants are going to be part of this or not, but if it is, it would be fun for Marvel to be in one house, or mostly in one house. Again, I know there's bits and parts owned by Sony, owned by Universal. So I don't know. We'll see. But yes, stay tuned. We will have more on this as things develop or not. You know, if nothing happens, everything stays the same. So we'll go with what we got. What else we got from the Twitzers?
At Adana Girl said, "Didn't Howard Stark invent that in the 40s and call it midnight oil? I seem to remember it not going well." And this is in response to a tweet from at Foreign Policy. "We got our hands on a DEA report about a drug that would allow drugged up superhuman soldiers to stay awake for days at a time."
Nothing good will come from that. Nothing at all.
I haven't actually read
Human
this
beings
story, and I'm
need
looking at
sleep.
it, and this is an actual proven thing. Human beings need sleep, or you could potentially die. There's a disease. It's a genetic disease called familial fatal insomnia syndrome, and it's literally just in certain rare family lines. You just in your like mid-20s, mid-30s, you stop sleeping and then you die because your body needs sleep.
My body needs sleep, that's for sure. I didn't get enough last night. I need more.
Did any of us really?
I know, jeez.
It's a drug called Captagon. It's an amphetamine. The technical name is phenethylene. It's been trumpeted as a jihadi drug used by fighters to improve their combat effectiveness.
Nice. I see where this is going. The terrorists. Great.
Well, it's starting to, according to the DEA, it's starting to shift away from use from the Middle East and into Southeastern Europe. And, people need sleep, you guys. It's just sleep. Everybody, just take a nap. Just sleep.
Okay. I'm going to go to sleep right now.
Well, first we should finish the show.
Okay, so what else? What other feedback do we have?
We also have from Andy Mingna. For the last 2 Inhumans episodes, I only listened to the cast, and sounds like a better decision.
I guess. I mean, we kind of are forced to watch it because, well, we have to podcast about it. So I envy you, I guess, Andy Mingna, for being able to make that choice.
I will not begrudge anybody their choice to watch or not watch the show. But your decision is certainly valid. So,
and thank you for listening to the podcast, by the way, while not even watching the show. So we appreciate that. And with that, we're going to What's in the Box? This one out.
What's in the box?
Thank you very much for listening or downloading or watching this show. We really appreciate it. And keep the comments coming in. We really appreciate the Twitter comments, but don't forget we have voicemail. We have an email, stargatepioneer@gonnageek.com, and we also have a Facebook page. So go ahead, hit us up at all those ways, and even comment on the YouTube video if you're watching it.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who's hopped on and left us news, left us feedback, just anything. We really, really appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's right. And the next episode will be the season finale of The Inhumans. Can't wait to get that over with and then get on to Thor Ragnarok. So,
yes.
With that, until next time, I'm the director, SP.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And we'll see you guys next time. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Sawandi's head.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D is copyright 2017.